Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. I am not going to be before you long. I just want to stop by. Good morning, good morning, good morning, classmate. Good morning, good morning, YouTube. It's good to see everyone this morning. Just want to stop by just for a few minutes and really talk to you guys about something that the Lord dropped in my spirit because I got to go to work in the next 5 minutes. So this is going to be quick, but I wanted to talk to you guys about what was in my spirit. And those that are watching the replay, make sure you share the broadcast. Make sure you leave a comment um, in the comment section to let me know that you watched the replay. But I want to talk to you guys about the patterns of God in your life, right? And I think sometimes we don't really recognize that there's patterns in our life concerning the will of the Father for our lives. And so let me tell you what I mean about that. Um, just if you watch the patterns of your life, just starting from a child. Good morning, Daphne. Good morning, woman of God. It's great to see you. If you watch the patterns of your life, and I'm talking about starting from a child, if you really watch the patterns of your life from a child, and watch how your life, the life events have unfolded, right? It is clearly a sign, right, of really of where you're headed. It shows you a sign of purpose and destiny. So let me give you a prime example. As a kid, the way God allowed me to grow up and allow me to, and what I was exposed to. So my father was the sheriff, my uncle was the principal. So in that small little town, right, there was a small type of exposure just from my parent being in the spotlight. So that was a pattern. I watched it. I didn't really understand it as growing up, but as I got older and I've been in God for a while, I understand that if you watch your childhood and what God allowed you to be exposed to is probably a good idea and where He's taking you as far as purpose and destiny, that there are probably going to be some level. So like with me and my siblings, there's a possibility there's going to be some level of spotlight, right? That you're going to be known or someone, and I'm not talking about necessarily on a big scale, but in that small town, we were all known, right? We were almost like small celebrities in that town. And so I just began to watch the patterns of my life. So that was one thing, right? And what I was exposed to, right? My father was the sheriff, my uncle was the principal. So the name was, everybody knew us in the county. And so and then when I went to college, I dated somebody that got in some type of trouble, right? And then that was a whole nother level of exposure, right? In front, and not the whole world, but another level of exposure, right? Then I got after that level of exposure, right? Then I move on, let's say in adulthood and that kind of stuff. There was another level of exposure, like in church, right? I became a leader in church. I became some other things happened, right? It was just a whole nother level of exposure, right? That was there. And so what I began to do, right? I began to watch the patterns of my life. I just sat down one day and just watched the pattern, the pattern. There's a certain pattern in your life that you need to begin to watch because that's a good sign that that's a part of the purpose and destiny, right? And so one of the things that I did, a Christmas gift that I gave myself, which I thank God for, right? This is a Christmas gift I gave myself this Christmas, was I hired a business coach, which was absolutely the best thing that I could have done. It was absolutely phenomenal. And in that coaching session, right, God revealed some things and some things that He wanted me to navigate. But once I got the information, right, what God wanted to do in my life, I can see how it all started when I was a kid, from the exposure, right? Being here and just being in front, just being always somewhat being in the spotlight. So then what happens is that what I got at that coaching session, and what some of the things that the Lord spoke to me and what He's going to do, it has to do with the spotlight, right? And so and I'm not talking about this big old spotlight like everybody. No, just there's a certain part of what God wants me to do that He's spoken to me, that I will be in the spotlight. And so just begin to watch the patterns of your life, right? And what God allowed and what you see that's happening. All those things are signs, right? All those things are signs that you're going to 9 out of 10, that's a part of your purpose and your destiny. And so I will say to you, and starting in 2022, begin to sit down in a quiet place and look at the patterns of your life. What is the common denominator? What is the common denominator? Good morning, Annette. Thank you for coming on. What is the common denominator? 9 out of 10. That common denominator is part of your purpose and destiny. And so I would say to you, get quiet, begin to look at the patterns of your life and begin to navigate towards that way, because God is doing some wonderful things in this new season, and we need to know what God is saying to us, right? And how He wants us to navigate in this new season. Things are shifted. I've always told you guys that things are not going to go back the same. We've shifted in a totally different realm, and so y'all gonna have to get used to what's coming in the world. It's not going back the same, so you're gonna have to get used to it, and you're gonna have to begin to ask God how to use those things for His glory, right? And so I want to say to you guys, make sure you watch the patterns of your life. It is a good sign and where you are headed. Very good sign. I'm gonna say to you this: invest into yourself. If you don't listen, let me say this to you. When I decided to get the business coach, and when I was looking at how much the business coach costs, right? I was like, oh, I don't know whether I want to spend that kind of money, right? But you know what? I'm a coach, right? That's part of what I do for a living. I get paid for it, for working at a university, and I have my own business as I coach people in personal development and entrepreneurship. But let me tell you what I thought about. Well, if I wasn't willing, right, to invest in someone else, right? If I wasn't willing to invest not into someone else and not into myself, then why should I have that expectation that people are going to invest into my business and trust me with coaching? And so I can when I sold when I actually hired the business coach. Good morning, nephew. What's up, Brandon? And so when I hired the business coach, my life shifted. I'm telling you, this was about a week or two ago when I had my 1 hour session. It was worth every brown penny. My life shifted, and I knew most of the stuff that I got some prophetic words, I got some practical things, and let me tell you one thing: my life shifted when I had that business coach, because I knew half of the stuff that my business coach said to me, that I could see the patterns of my life started speaking to that destiny. And I'm saying to you guys that at some point, you're going to have to stop holding on, and saying, oh, I don't want to do this. You have to become a first priority at some point in your life. And you're going to have to take the leap. You're going to have to jump into faith, okay? And begin to operate towards your destiny. Hiring a business coach was one of the best decisions that I had. And I just didn't hire any business coach. I hired a business coach that was saved, that loved God, that understand, that just not giving me, because sometimes some things you need it practical, and some things you need to know the direction that God is taking you in. And so I hired a business coach that's also not only just practical but also prophetic. I'm that type of coach. I'm prophetic and I'm practical, right? And so I want to say to you guys that I'm just so excited about what God is doing in this season. And I want to encourage you guys. Thank you for watching, Miss Lewis. I want to encourage you guys. Make sure you share the broadcast, guys. I want to, but let me get back to it because I'm getting off. I'm getting off focus. I want you guys to really take a minute for yourselves. Take a minute for yourselves for a change before 2022. Get in here and sit down and begin to watch and go back and watch the patterns of your life and the events that happen in your life, and they all point to destiny. They all point to purpose. And so I want to say to you, make sure you sit down and do that before 2022 begins, before it comes in. Write those things down, begin to pray over those things, and ask God, God, how do you want to navigate my purpose and destiny in 2022? It is time for us to shift our mindset, and sometimes you can't shift until you begin to invest on a whole nother level. When I invested into my business coach, and I mean I've given big money in church, but I'm talking about this is for something different. When I invested into my business coach, it shifted me to a whole nother level. And I'm gonna say to you guys, if you want to shift, right? If you sincerely want to shift, you're gonna have to do something different. Hello, John. Good to see you, man of God. Hey, Melissa. You're gonna have to shift. You're gonna have to do something different. You're gonna have to stop being around the same mindsets. You're gonna have to shift. You're gonna have to do some things different. And guys, I gotta get off here because I got to go to work in 1 minute. So I love you guys. Um, uh, I will be back on tomorrow morning. But I wanted you guys to know that it is important that you really begin to do the shift and begin to allow God to change some things in your life. You're gonna have to do something different. You're gonna have to jump out on faith. You're gonna have to start investing. And so, guys, so I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. I got to jump on here. I got to get to work. And so I love you guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.